Hello, we are here with Jay-Z for Show Your Work Lesson 5. So, all right, I'll let you take it away, Jay-Z.
All right, yeah. So to recap, we're doing this book, Show Your Work, and by Austin Kleon. And we've been doing one chapter every week. So we started with You Don't Have to Be a Genius, then Think Process, Not Product, then Share Something Small Every Day. Last time was Open Up Your Cabinet of Curiosities. And this week it's Tell Good Stories.
Can we talk about last week a little bit
Yes.
about the Cabinet of Curiosities? So, that was really kind of healing for me because I have this whole thing about like being a hoarder of art supplies and what it was saying was that like an artist collects art supplies and then uses those art supplies, and so like it inspired me to like try to find more ways to use my art supplies. So this is my friend, she goes to a church, and I was like, how many
Mhm.
people go to your church? And she was like 20, or she has 20 friends at church. I was like, can I make you 20 cross keychains to give to your friends at church? And so
Ooh.
I'm trying to find like groups to translate my cabinet of curiosities into products, because it's like translating to one person at a time just isn't enough. I want to be like, do you have a group? But I don't know. I guess I'm curious to hear from you about like, how do you manage the collecting of supplies and the utilizing of supplies without being a hoarder of curiosities?
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, when it comes to art supplies, I do have, I go through cycles of like wanting to do things with yarn and then I'm crocheting or knitting or whatever, but then I put that down for a while and do something else. And then, yeah, I have this box of stuff. And I was able to get rid of my yarn by sending it to you.
Yeah, totally.
So I do think there is, as far as material supplies go, a bit of like trading and swapping with other people who are also interested in that kind of way of making art. I think also I've had to do some like kind of clearing out of things and getting rid of things. I'm not good at ever like selling things, but I'm good at like just giving them away, either throwing them away or donating them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like this thing. Okay, so like in the beaded portraits I'm making, like I will need a specific color for a specific thing in a specific portrait. So like I'll get a tube of beads of that. Will I ever use that? Well, then I make necklaces, and I do all these things. It's kind of nice to have a color palette of beads to work from. I also have tons of yarn that I've gathered throughout the ages, and either making projects for people or picking it up on sale. And like now I'm translating it into a bunch of like blankets for Moira Press cast members. Like, so it's like you can do a stash buster, which is when you eat up your stash with a project. And I think, I do think we've got to keep that flow of things into things out, like at to a manageable level that feels good without feeling like we're just collecting and not making.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. Christopher's with us. He's in the chat, and he's a graffiti artist and a photographer. So, Christopher, do you have a problem with like having too many materials taking up space, or do you find inspiration in the things that you collect? The last time was kind of about that. About uh, let's talk about that too, Andy. The finding inspiration from the things you collect that aren't the materials that you're creating artwork from. Do
Wait,
you,
what do you mean?
like, do you collect like photographs or clippings of things or other people's artwork that then you see and it inspires you to do more of your own?
I don't really, because I make so much artwork. Like if you look around my room, it's all paintings I've done. I don't really collect a lot from other people because I'm in a constant state of mania. Like I don't, and I don't like to. But like for example, I went to the monster truck rally and I got like a monster truck. Like I mean, it's a little bit of souvenirs, but like I don't collect a lot of stuff. I really don't accept a lot of items into my home that
Yeah,
aren't art projects or art supplies.
that's
Do
interesting.
you?
And I think that his Cabinet of Curiosities thing kind of was like that, like souvenirs in a way, right?
Mm,
Of things that then will inspire you to remember the things you love and then incorporate them in your artwork.
hmm hmm
Hmm.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I think we should keep working on this one of like collecting versus purging, and then people end up giving you supplies and this and that, and like it's a
Yeah.
flow thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I think too, like you give me things and then I have like, I'm motioning over here over to my fridge where, your things that you made for me are hanging there on the fridge. And like, I like that. Or even like a card that you sent to me
Hmm.
um, to remind me. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Christopher
But like
says,
this is
were to see my room, it's so sterile because I know I'm moving. If I were to have a house, I would collect more and decorate more.
like this is a stash buster, like making these blankets, because I can like totally I learned the term stash buster from this bead lady. But like I can just like move yarn stash with these squares, and so like that's a constant stash buster I have going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm more like the way Christopher is talking about himself, about like someone who decorates their house with things that inspire them. And it sounds like you're more pragmatic, Andy. You have things in your house that you use to create artwork with.
Yeah, totally. But like, look at how many paintings can you see all the paintings on my wall? Like I've made all of those, so it's like
Hmm.
I don't even have any wall space. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do
Cool.
I do think there are people who collect a lot of art supplies and don't use a lot of them at all. And like I think the lesson would there is like try to make something out of what you've collected. Try to like invent projects to go. But there has to be a person on the receiving end of like, who do I want to make this for, so it like can move through.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Okay. What's the next lesson?
All right. Well, today's lesson is wait, let me get back to it. Tell good stories. So the first thing he has to say is work doesn't speak for itself.
Whoa.
This really reminded me of you, Andy, in the way that you're always trying to give context to the artwork by showing it in process of being made. All this stuff that you always say about B-roll, about like taking pictures, behind the scene pictures when like you're in a musical collaboration, or yeah, things like that. Quite interesting.
So the point of today's thing is it's not what you make necessarily, it's the story you tell about it.
Well, that's the first. There are kind of these sub chapters, but yes, that is the first one. Go
Well,
ahead.
I want to say something about this. So this is like where the artist statements gives a piece meaning. Like for example, like you can make a mosaic in the park, right?
Hmm.
And it's an okay thing. It's like, okay, here's a piece of art being made in the park. But if you create a big community story about like anti-racist action, or like you involve the community with a very interesting narrative around the piece of art, the art becomes very real and very interesting.
Yeah.
um it's the same with when we make chart beads and we send them out. I always write a note in there. It's like, oh, nice to see you, these are your chart beads, they are sacred objects. They say in Native American cultures that beads are tiny spirits. Like this is your spirit embodied. Like I always make a narrative around the piece because I've noticed it really makes the piece meaningful.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And in the book, they give the example of a art collector goes to a gallery and he sees two paintings and they're both like 10-foot tall paintings of a seascape. And then he goes up to one and it looks like the same boats. Looking at it, it even looks like the same brush strokes. It's the same everything. And he's like, well, painting A or painting B? Like, which one which one should I collect? Which one's better? Which one speaks to me more? And then the owner or the curator comes in, and the guy's like, what, tell me about these two paintings, painting A and painting B. And the curator says like, oh, well, painting A is from like a what do you say? Painted in the 17th century by a Dutch master. And painting B was created last week by a grad student. And then all of a sudden it's like, which painting you want or which whatever. It's because of the provenance, right?
Oh, interesting.
And it's like objectively, like, things have the value of the story behind them.
Wow, fascinating. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is a lesson definitely to learn as an artist. Is like, okay, here's an example. Okay, so if you're making, let's say, keychains, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so there's this keychains I made for your book club. Okay, and like I could have just made you keychains of like with a burn on them and sent them like, here's for your book club, but there's like no story around that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I created a story around it. Like, okay, you guys read the book The Courage to Be Disliked, which I choose a dinosaur for because they're kind of fierce and they're like not necessarily likable, and so now when people look at, and you're going to tell this, that's, I'm telling you that story, and you're going to tell it to the people in your book club, and then when they look at the dinosaur they're going to see that book. And then there's the story, the angel is for say what you mean, which is like kind of be an angel, say what you mean, like, so that's the closest I could get, but that's the story I created there. And then the owl was for like the lazy guy's man to enlightenment. But see, now these pieces of
Mm-hmm.
art have like a story behind them, and in that way they become meaningful. But if I
Yeah,
just sent a weird keychain with a football on it or something that had nothing to do with the book club, they would have ended up in the trash.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You create value through meaning. Yeah. Here's another experiment that they talked about was these scientists went and bought a bunch of like just insignificant objects from like thrift stores and flea markets and stuff. And they paid an average of $1.25 for them. And then they opened up an eBay shop where they put as the starting price, like whatever it is they had actually paid for it. And then people could bid up from there. And by the end of the experiment, they sold $128.74 worth of trinkets. So it's what they paid was $128. What they earned was $3,612.51
Wow.
because they hired a bunch of writers, both famous writers and not famous writers, to invent stories that attributed significance to each
Wow.
object. So they had writers write stories for the objects, and then yeah, people bid them up.
God, that is such a good lesson. Okay, and yeah, I mean, another example of this is like the keychains. Well, I don't know, like it's just like we are making keychains for my wedding, and they have keys on them, and so we put these key quotes in there, like key to serenity, key to humility, and then like each one has a quote, and so like you kind of draw your keychain, and then you'll get this like kind of like story around the keychain of like, this is the key to humility, or like then when you carry it around, it's got like a story to it, and it's like, I mean, this is a lesson I learned along the way as an artist, but I had never I actually had, I always attributed to like the artist statement around the piece of art
Mhm.
was what, and we learned this in the Course of Miracles of, um, nothing means anything except the meaning we give it. We learned that in the Course in Miracles. And the way to give something a miraculous meaning is to attach a meaning to that thing. So
Yeah,
us creating meaning around it is adding immensely to the value of the art. It's adding thousands of dollars.
yeah, yeah, and like Christopher saying, humans love stories. So stories is how we give meaning to things.
Interesting.
In this book they show you this, like, see these triangles, well, underneath it it says like, oh, this is a mountain, oh, this is a shark fin, oh, this is a tortilla chip, this is a wizard hat. It's like whatever you decide your thing means, just tell that story.
Interesting. That is such a powerful lesson.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's talk about beads for a second again. Okay, merit beads. Okay, like let's say, um, like if you're in the Boy Scouts and you learn how to sew, and then you get a bead chain with a needle and thread on it at the end, or like a scissors or something. You're like, this is the merit bead of sewing.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
means you learn to sew. I did one of these. It was my daughter plants trees, and so I made her this mobile with a bunch of trees on it. I was like, "Here's your merit beads for planting trees." Like
Oh,
so. It's like I do think merit beads are an example of that, but it's yeah. I mean, if you're going through and you're looking for prints, like if you're at like a fair, you'll only buy a print for somebody if it's got some meaning behind it. Like, oh, this angel print made me think of you, Jenna, because you talk to angels. Like
yeah.
now there's meaning around the angel print. You know what I mean? We do this all the time without really noticing it.
Yeah. All right, so then we're going to take it to the next level. So not just meaning of like a meaning of an object, but a story behind it. So they give a quote by John Le Carre saying, "The cat sat on a mat is not a story. The cat sat on the dog's mat is a story."
Whoa, the drama.
Right? So the next thing, yeah, is structure is everything. So if you want to tell a story, in the first act, you get your hero up a tree. This is according to George Abbott. In the second act, you throw rocks at him. For the third act, you let him down. So I guess the point is there's a story arc. So here's another example of a story cycle in which at the beginning a character is in a zone of comfort, but they want something, and then they enter an unfamiliar situation. They adapt to it, they get what they wanted, and then they pay a price for it. And then they return to their familiar situation having changed, right? So there's a story arc for you. What do you think about that, Andy?
Well, we talk about that a lot in production of like there has to be drama for a story to occur. I gave you beads because of no reason. Like that, there's no drama in that story. But like the book club's been going. You guys have read 3 books, like this and that. Like I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't follow I can't really follow the formula he's offering. Like this, but all I know is in a story arc, we have to have some like pinch points and things that are, I don't know, there has to be drama.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so like maybe in the book club, like we had a little bit of a contention in the book club itself because one of the members was there for just like a different reason than the other members who wanted to talk about the book, but the one kind of outlier person wanted to kind of debate about the book or to, discuss the book in a different kind of way, and that caused tension and conflict. And then the book club almost broke up because people told me like, I'm not going to keep coming to book club if it's like that. So then I had to like talk to the person, and then like, so there's all these like ups and downs of roller coasters of like we almost had this great book club and then it almost fell apart and then it got, like I think that it's true. And then you made me a special bead for my keychain about like leadership, right?
Yeah, I gave you the Saturn string because you're doing all the hard work of keeping the thing together, and like so you got yours as a special thing. And I also think it could be part of the drama of the B club is like all of a sudden you guys almost broke up, and then you got your keychains, which was like, no, we've gone through 3 books, we can do, because you guys will get a new string for every book you read, and like so it's like trying to get more merit strings is like part of the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, nice. And Kimber's with us too now. And she's saying that the story needs to be dynamic like a roller coaster. It's either loopy or hilly or a big drop, but like it's not a straight ride because that's boring.
Sort of connects to Andy's WWE heel idea. Like we need good guys and bad guys to make good stories. Yeah, give me that art. No,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. And there's contention in some of the Moira Press episodes as well.
Oh God. Today we had an episode from hell on the Ricky Williams show today. It was just I feel like I need to hold my friend Fern like a chicken, like squeeze her like a chicken, but I don't have time right now. I'm not free until like 7, so
Right on. Well, there we go. We've got the battle coming up in
oh, oh
right.
yeah. Oh yeah, and the Mars Uranus conjunction, we got the battle. Yeah. Oh my God, that episode, Kimber, it was terrible.
See, and Kimber wants to watch it now.
Although Fern and I always laugh, where I was like, never waste a fight. Like, so maybe she sees the episode like that. Like,
It's true. I want to watch the episode too now. I want to know what happens.
there's crying. Trigger warning. There's crying.
All
Okay.
right. Yeah, I like a good contentious make the other person cry kind of fight.
Yeah. Well, the crowd might like it. I don't know that Fern liked it though.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. I'm kind of joking around, but I do feel bad for Fern if it really upset her.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's see. So here's another storygram from Kurt Vonnegut, which in his diagrams, you either start from below, from bad fortune at the beginning, where like this line represents, overcoming misfortune, but then you have to fall back into it. And then you can come out at the end. And that he says is like Cinderella. You can have, if you start with good fortune, you definitely have to fall into the hole of bad fortune and then come back out of it. And then he has a funny thing here, which is Kafka's Metamorphosis, which just starts bad and gets worse.
Okay, so in the storyline for our art, what he's saying is have twists and turns and loops, like Kimber's saying, of like, we don't want a straight line for art. Like, like I made a light bright, then I made another light bright, and then I made a light bright. Like, it should be like, I made a light bright. Now I can't find the light bright pegs to make my next light bright. I'm struggling. And like, I don't know.
Oh,
Or like,
yeah.
I don't know what makes this story a struggle.
Yeah, there always does have to be kind of a struggle, or else it's not compelling. And I think that's why you're always saying, Andy, put out there, like when you're feeling bad, put out there when you're struggling, when you're like don't know what to do, put out there when you're like, oh no, I just wanted all this conflict and now we got conflict, but I feel bad for the person because maybe they didn't want that kind of a conflict. Or like there's always a roller coaster.
There's a roller coaster if you identify that, it's like I like what he's saying is like, think about the story that you're telling about your art, and it's like our art for a lot of us is the astrology that we do. And so like, do we want it to just be the straight line? It's like, no, there's the Mars and Pluto are coming together right now, so it is a contentious transit. And I think, if we let it be, then it is, but if we whitewash everything so that you can't see that stuff, then it's nothing.
Mm, yeah. All right, here, just one more example, but they're all showing pretty much the same thing. And this one, you just start and then you're going along and then there's an inciting incident, which brings you to a climax and then falling action to a resolution and denouement at the end, right? So, but yeah, it's always, I think it's either got to be going up or going down.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how could like Kimber? Here's an example. Like Kimber makes embroidery. Like how could Kimber make a climactic, dramatic story about embroidery?
Well, it could be the content of what she's choosing. It could be like a juxtaposition of it could be a juxtaposition of like the content versus the format. It could be, or it could break the fourth wall and get into the physical realm of like she was embroidering and like kept poking herself with the needle or slashed herself with some scissors on accident, or had a tragedy with her cat peed, or she doesn't have cats, but her dog peed all over her stash.
Oh my God, that would. Yeah. Well, it makes me think of Shane, and one of his art forms is cooking, and right now our fridge is broken. So like the cooking's becoming very interesting because he can't cook, he can't use the fridge right now. It's like everything has to be eaten out, and like, so it's like, you know, basically the fridge going out is like a beautiful drama point in the storyline of Shane's cooking.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But Christopher's offering up the thread got tangled and you had to untangle. That is a classic in beadwork and art. Thread or fiber arts is like tangled thread.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, let's go to the last subchapter of this, which says, talk about yourself at parties.
but you're
So,
not supposed to talk about yourself. That's like a faux pas.
well, okay, so this is his perspective, right? And like me, we don't necessarily have to agree. But I'm offering his perspective, which is, you're at a party enjoying yourself when a stranger approaches, introduces themselves, and asks the dreaded question, "So, what do you do?" And then he does kind of go on about, like, in some self-deprecating way about being a writer, saying like, oh yeah, if you're a doctor or a lawyer or a plumber, you can just say what you do, but if you say you're a writer, someone will say, oh, have you been published? But is that really true? Do people really
Wait,
ask of writers?
I mean, I don't know. People hardly ever ask questions in my experience.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, anyway, what he says is you should use people asking you what you do as, like, don't think it's an interrogation, but treat it as an opportunity to connect with someone. So if you start talking about what you're passionate about and like the artwork that you do, and you have a good story about it, stick to what's actually true, but like share something about yourself or your passion, and then it you'll be able to make a connection with the person about something you care about.
Okay, I'll tell you the formula for likability and success. Okay, so what you do is when someone says, "How are you?" instead of just being like, "Fine," be like, "This is where I tell them a dramatic story." I'd be like, "Well, I'm doing pretty good because I been beating this thing of my clown's face, and I had enough. I've been making the halo, and I'm using gold sequins for the halo, and I can't tell if it's a bad pattern or not. When I look at it from up close, it kind of looks gross, but when I go from behind far away, it looks really good." And so I tell them this dramatic story about my art, and then I stop and say, "Are you working on anything right now?"
Ah,
So you
yeah.
give them a lot instead of just like, "I'm fine." You give them some drama about the art you're creating, but then you stop and ask them about the art they're creating, and like you never just end it with a statement. You always ask them to talk about themselves.
Yeah. I like too how, Andy, you're modeling the kind of response they might give. Like, you're giving permission to them to answer as deeply as you just answered, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's true. Like Christopher's saying too, like, ask them about their hobbies, not about their work. Because it's true. It's like that's what people care about is their hobbies. That's why they do it. They do them because they care about them, you know?
Yeah, interesting. Wow, that went quick. So, okay, so today's lesson this week is we need to tell stories about our work and also talk to people about it as we go out. Like when I'm getting my coffee in the morning, I'll talk about the art I'm making, or it's that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
Look at this beaded necklace I made for my coffee barista. She's an Aquarius Cancer, and it's got glow in the dark green beads for Aquarius and gray for Cancer.
ooh, nice. Well, you'll have to tell us the story later of what happened when you gave it to them.
Okay, I will. But the story about it is it's an Aquarius Cancer necklace, and it's built to her chart.
Ah, nice.
All right, Kimber, thank you for being here.
All right.
Christopher, thank you for showing up. Jay Z, thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. I really hope we get through this Mars Pluto conjunction.
Oh, we will, one way or the other.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.